Alright, today we're in Agawam, Massachusetts in the Phoenix Hills neighborhood. We're going to talk about all the burial grounds of Agawam throughout its history. And I'm going to tell you them in order from the year that they were formed. Remember that Agawam really didn't become a town independent of West Springfield until 1855. Alright, so the Federal Hill Cemetery is the oldest of all, from 1736. Is where the first settlers settled in what would become Agawam, separate settlement from West Springfield settlement, which itself sprung from Springfield. Right, and the old Phoenix Hill Cemetery we're looking at now is from 1750. The church that formed its meeting house is maybe a quarter-mile away. Then the Smith Family Cemetery from 1814, the Maple Grove from 1829. There's a cemetery now gone, which is called the Fair Family Cemetery, but that was moved into the Agawam Center Cemetery. And then there's the Springfield Street Cemetery, which I think mostly is from 1842. Some people say that it's older. I don't really think it is. All right, now, the one I should have mentioned in there as being number 3, I ignored on purpose. It was the Agawam Center Cemetery, and that one would become the most important of all, and the largest of all, and it still is very large and a lot of modern burials. But the old ones are towards the front of the street, and it's quite the place. Now, there's a modern cemetery in Agawam. Most communities cannot say that. It's the Massachusetts State Veterans Cemetery in Agawam, formed in the year 2001 only. And it's a beautiful cemetery, both mausoleum, columbariums, and also below ground burials with vertical tablets. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about this cemetery with you, and I'm going to visit. This is the second time we stop here, and I want to talk about it relative to what the others are like. There's a lot of similarity between Agawam's cemeteries. Now, the last thing to mention, though, is where's the Catholics? Probably at St. Michael's Cemetery, or at Springfield Street Cemetery, which is non-denominational. Right, where's the old-time burials before this? Probably in West Springfield or Springfield. And then where are the Jewish people buried? Probably in West Springfield, where they have 4 cemeteries in a row, or in Springfield, where they have also 4 cemeteries in a row. All right, and I hope to give a presentation someday on that very topic. Okay, I'm going to go visit this cemetery. I'm going to show you various features about it. Remember, it's a Protestant cemetery. It has its own set, so you can look at my pictures for this, and so forth and so on. Right? But I want to look at certain features relative to all of Agawam's Protestant cemeteries, because there's something in common, and most communities don't have this problem. I call it a negative problem. Okay, anything you want to know besides that?
So where are the old burials in the cemetery?
Okay, we'll try to find those too. And I'm not happy about the situation here, but we'll look at it. Okay, we'll walk towards the cemetery itself. Okay, within the cemetery, you have burial stones that are lined up in this direction, facing a 90-degree angle or perpendicular angle to the road. All right, and then you have stones on the other side of the cemetery. Now, they keep perpendicular to the road for a while, but then when you get to halfway point of the cemetery to the point where the gate and sign is, you have a different situation here, where in this situation here, they're pointing towards the road. All right. Now, old-time burials before 1850 usually have the inscription gravestone pointing in the westerly direction. All right. And these are the ones that at least are on the right axis. They're pointing, though, towards the east. All right, they're not pointing towards the west. So originally, they would have been 180 degrees the other way, pointing towards the back of the cemetery. There would have been footstones behind each one, and there would have been a space of 9 feet between every row. All right, now some of those rows have a correct spacing, like this one, but this one does not. All right, and this one does not. So someone has been moving these stones greatly, probably from 1880 to 1910 or so. The superintendent, with permission, moved them so they faced the road, and they should all be in the opposite direction. Now, another thing, there should be footstones, and there's hardly any to be seen, which means that the stones on this side, the very old stones on this side, should also be facing away from the road. All right, and they're not, they're actually facing along a different axis. They're facing along a north-south axis. Okay, and they also no footstones. So this cemetery has been changed very greatly, and a lot of cemeteries in Agawam have been changed greatly. The Agawam Center Cemetery has been changed greatly, where there's no orientation of the stones in the correct direction. Some do, but many don't, and mostly they're trying to point towards the road, but some are pointing on angles, like this situation. Some are 90 degrees at a different angle from the ones nearby, which would never have been done for prior to 1850s. All right. There's a Federal Hill Cemetery, which does lie on the correct axis. So that's very good. There's a Smith's Family Cemetery, which does lie on the correct axis. All right. So some of these do. There's a Maple Grove Cemetery where some of the ones in the back do lie on the correct axis, but the ones towards the front and the middle, they've definitely been changed around. So a sexton of a cemetery, S-E-X-T-O-N, would have been so orderly about what he did that he would have kept these arranged in the right direction and the footstones in place. Now, most communities, if they go shifting them, at least put the stones in one direction, not in multiple directions. But in Agawam, they've been pointed in multiple directions. And I've been to at least 30 different communities or 40 different communities around Western Massachusetts to see their grave sites. And this is the first one that doesn't even have most of the stones in a correct direction, even lined up with each other, even if they were changed around. Okay, so there are some good points, the Federal Hill Cemetery, and there are some great points, the small Smith Family Cemetery. But this is really out of line. It's very strange to explain why they would even select to do that. So thank you